figured I'd pick this room because there's a mountain on the back on the wall.
That's nice. Yes,
But the lights are not really working at this moment. They're like creating a reflection. Is that?
I see. Yeah. Well, I had to put a hat on because it was reflecting off my bald head.
Did you pick that kind of mountainy background thing?
I did.
Okay. Are we started? Has the podcast officially started? Okay. All right. The podcast has started, and I'm Ingrid Backstrom, and this is Malone Camp. If I were to introduce Malone Camp, he is a passionate skier, a passionate music fan. His job is attorney. He is a very smart person. He's a connector of people, the person who is always looking to connect people, make things happen, and just, a really good friend that I met on ski trips. And we've known each other for probably 3 or 4 years now. And now I've been fortunate enough to ski with Malone in Chile and Japan, among other places.
Yes. And Ingrid, in addition to being a pro skier, is a mom and a great writer who has an excellent Substack. And she seems to come up with content so frequently that I am impressed by it. One of the reasons I wanted her to be on this podcast with me.
We've been talking about this it was an idea that we talked about a couple years ago. And then this year, Malone was like, let's just do it. And then all of a sudden he was like, all right, it's time. And he has a really lovely mission statement that he wrote up. But mainly the focus of our All Mountain podcast is the intersection of mountain culture. So skiing, snowboarding, anything on the mountain in the outdoor industry, and sustainability. And that's the main focus. There's also sub-focuses on music and business, and of course, just generally talking shop, because that's what we like to do.
Every podcast will have a sustainability aspect. That is the goal.
Malone is where?
Malone is in just outside of Denver today, and Ingrid is where?
I'm in Leavenworth, Washington. Where do you mainly ski? What's your favorite place to ski?
So I mainly ski at Arapahoe Basin.
I normally ski at Stevens Pass because it's 35 minutes up the road from where I live. And I love skiing in Washington, but I lived in Tahoe for a long time, and I love to ski basically anywhere. Very non-discriminatory like that.
Me too. Yeah. Well, I mean, I'll ski anywhere too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So what does sustainability mean, I guess, to you? Like, what is your main?
That is a good question. So I mean, obviously it's creating and recreating in a way that we at least don't make the environment any worse, and whether that's through the gear that we use or our impact on the land and environment itself. Kind of the idea behind this was, obviously climate change is having a major impact on, our favorite sport. And it seems like winters are getting warmer and the snowpack is getting less each year. So if there's anything we can do to reverse that, bring attention to things that people can do to help in that effort to change the direction that we seem to be heading in, that was a big motivation. And I feel like between skiing and music and other things that are connected to the sport of skiing, snowboarding, being in the backcountry, I think it's a passionate community, and anything we can do to unite that is positive. So I'm getting off, I guess, a little bit of what sustainability is, but and back into the why. So I'll let you go with what you think sustainability is, or what it means to you.
I mean, sustainability is just like, can we keep doing the things that we're doing, and what does that look like? I think the most important thing to me is that clearly the environmental movement has been around since the 70s, and it gained some traction, but then it really got left behind. And like, how are we still here? We've known about these issues for 50 years and nothing has been done in an appreciable way. And in some ways we are backsliding. And so to me, I think I was really interested in being a part of conversations where we look at what's being done and what's working and what's not working. And like, how can we change the conversation? How can we include more people? How can we get people to care in a way that could move the needle and make people place this? I think obviously there's a lot of issues and problems that are facing kind of the preventing making headway on climate change.
Yes.
And there's a whole bunch of them. I don't know. Do you want to, what are some of the things that you think are preventing people from doing anything or caring?
Well, I mean, I think right now, unfortunately, our federal government is not helping. Mm-hmm. They are reversing years of policy. They're trying to. Which is not good, but the other side of it is the economic market and our capitalist society, which obviously has impacted the environment in negative ways. But even though the government is now trying to reverse, for example, I think the coal policy that I forgot what they're gonna like try and reopen all of these coal mines and fund all these coal mine operations that were pretty much shut down, or it's dying. It's a dying resource in a lot of areas, and I don't like the government's actions, but what I'm sort of optimistic about is that I believe the economics of those things have started to shift, and hopefully that we got enough momentum into solar, wind, renewable resources in the past few years to keep that momentum going. Obviously, it's not going to be subsidized during this administration, but hopefully there's enough economic push to keep that going. For instance, I just got an electric car this year, which is awesome. I've wanted one for a long time. I was not allowed to buy a certain brand by my better half, and I agree. Although I will be fair and say that brand is what exposed me to electric cars, because I rented them when I would travel, and I really, really like the experience. It's just a better experience than driving a gas car, in my opinion. I've never really driven a hybrid, so I don't know about that. But I went full electric. Yeah.
Oh, it's like life-changing. Driving an electric car, it's like once you have one, then you look around and you're like, what is this world that we're living in? We have a potential to be on a totally different level, and we're all just living in 50 years ago world just because some people like to cling to the past. And I think you hit on with the coal thing. It's like, is coal actually in this day and age like a responsible and economical way to create energy? No, like it's not, right? Pollutes the air. Nobody wants to work at a coal plant, I'm pretty sure, but it's just something about it where it's like, we're going to bring back things to American things. And people feel that like gut reaction of like, oh yeah, maybe my ancestors worked in that, and that will bring us back to a time when my family had prosperity or whatever. And so I think that they've done a really good job. It's like a PR thing, And
that's unfortunately, I believe, part of the playbook for these type of governments. They go back to those historical things that hit an element. We've seen it before in history, and because it strikes a nerve. But hopefully, the younger generation that's coming up is not completely bought into that, and they definitely seem to want change. Unfortunately, whether it's just how radical they're going to want it. So but yeah
I have 3 different like good friends who recently bought and used of that brand cars because they get them really cheap.
I like that we're not going to name it.
Yeah.
Let's just not name it.
And my daughter, our 9-year-old, who has been like a little bit indoctrinated in our household, unfortunately. And she was like, oh, Mom, are they actually getting a, you know what, car?
Yeah.
And I was like, yes. And first, we're still going to be their friends. Nothing will change. And it is an electric car. So in many ways, like buying an electric car, if you are going to buy a new car, buying an electric car has a lot of benefits. So I'm no shame on anyone that gets an electric car, whatever brand you need to get, because the more people vote with their dollars, like that's how change happens. You know, it is, to your point, it's at the end of the day, an economical question. And one of my main like soapbox things that I will rail about is, why has climate change not been positioned as more of an economic problem?
Right.
It's renewable. It's like infinite resources versus finite resources. Like, that's simple economics. And so why are we continuing to use these finite resources that have, like, to use economic terms, like less and less ROI, when we have these that you know,
and
the return
not on the return is what? I'm sorry, I cut you off.
Infinite. Could be infinite.
Yes. 100%. And economically, you know, it should create more value if we have these renewable resources, because right now energy cost or energy use is skyrocketing because of all of the AI infrastructure and all of these data centers. And to be fair, I don't know why they're not, you know, doing more with nuclear. You know, there hasn't been a bigger focus. I mean, it's a pretty safe energy, you know, use. If it's done well. There's only been, you know, a few incidents. They're not great.
You F1 goat, and it's like nobody is like. People are so scared of nuclear, but Finland has like 5 up and working reactors.
Really? I didn't know that.
Nuclear. Yeah, they're absolutely crushing it, and most of their power, the majority of Finland's power, comes from nuclear power.
And the Scandinavian countries, speaking of electric cars, they've had very wide adoption. I know they had subsidies for a while, but I think a lot of those have ended. So, but that's interesting. I didn't know Finland had that many nuclear reactors.
Yeah, they do. I actually had a guy in my avalanche class, one of my avalanche classes I was teaching last year, who was like, that's what he does for work. He's like, he works on nuclear, and he has been to Finland a bunch, and he was telling me about it.
Wow. Huh. Pretty cool. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know why. I mean, I think we've only had 1 or 2 plants or something since like the 80s or the 70s. It's crazy.
Well, I live near the Hannaford, a couple hours away from the Hannaford, and that was like that was a pretty bad waste site. And I met a guy who's working on the cleanup, and basically it's gnarly, and the bureaucracy involved in cleaning it up. Basically, they put it in one container.
Okay.
And the container is cracking and leaking. And all they needed to do was like double wall the thing. But now that it's been leaking, they have this horrible, they can't just like the red tape that they're facing to just, all they need to do is encase it in like a double wall thing. But they can't get the payoff. And there is still a working nuclear reactor there. It's mostly used for show, but it does generate a little bit of power. So.
And where is that again?
It's in Hanford, Washington. It's in
Washington. Yeah.
A couple hours where I live. It's really near the Tri-Cities. And
Tri-Cities.
also right near where I live in Wenatchee and like Moses Lake, that's where all the data centers are going in, and huge, massive data centers, because we have the cheapest power in the nation because we have all hydropower. So Microsoft has all their data centers, and we're like, why does this tiny community have this like super nice aquatic center and they have all this stuff, and everyone's like, oh, that's all Microsoft money.
Wow. That's interesting.
Yeah.
But I mean the data centers, they bring jobs on the construction and everything, but they're not like buildings full of people. That's, you know, I guess that's the one downside, right?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they provide some jobs.
Temporary jobs for sure. Yes.
Right. Okay. Where do we go from here now?
Yeah, let's see. Okay. So another one of my things that I think is really important in talking about is, I'm not sure if you're aware of the origins of the term carbon footprint.
Does it have to do with the carbon dating by any chance?
No, it doesn't.
Nope. Okay. I just took a guess.
This is something that I think is so fascinating. The term carbon footprint, as applied to like individual consumers, was invented in like 1996 by a marketing firm that was hired by British Petroleum. They came out with this whole thing called Beyond Petroleum. And it was basically a marketing campaign. And the focus of it was designed to put the onus of like carbon emissions on the consumer. So basically, like, it is on you to change your actions. Don't mind what we're doing over here, building our entirely carbon-based society and making you completely dependent on all these carbon-based energy sources. No, it's actually you're the problem for what you do every day. Sit in traffic, fly on planes. And so we are down here like arguing about, my carbon footprint or whatever. And meanwhile, when we all live in a carbon-based society, essentially, until we start switching out of that carbon-based society, like, we all have a very high impact, no matter what.
Right. But it was just a marketing campaign.
It was just a marketing campaign. So we have all been kind of brainwashed to believe that we should feel guilty and bad for living our lives. And then we can argue, we're down here just like yelling at each other in the comments, like, oh, well, you can't fly in a plane and also be an environmentalist, or you can't go heli skiing and also care about the environment, or I can't believe you drive that big truck, or you do this, and how can you say that you care about the environment? Meanwhile, they're just making billions and nothing is done to change it, because it's like we're fighting each other about it.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, that kind of goes back to the current theme of our government. Are we really this divided, or are we just, is it just being played up? It seems like.
Yes,
right?
We are 100% being played up and fed the information to make us sit down here and feel righteous or whatever.
Right.
While the people in power continue to get away with, whatever they want.
Yep. Because they're distracting.
Yeah, there's a study at MIT in 2007 where a bunch of graduate students, along with a professor, looked at the actual carbon footprint of people in America. And the lowest carbon footprint of anyone in America at that time was 8.5 tons per year. And those are people living without homes. Like, literally people living on the street, eating in soup kitchens. They still have, because we're all in a carbon-based society, their carbon emissions essentially is 8.5 tons per year, which is more than double the global per capita average.
Why is their impact so much higher?
Well, it's not high than everyone else because we rely so much on carbon-based forms of energy and power in our society that even if you're living on the street and getting your needs met by soup kitchens and the occasional shelter, all the stuff that goes into that still has a carbon footprint. That's about half the American average.
Wow.
So 8.5 tons, somebody living without a home has about half the impact of an average American. They still have more than double the impact of somebody living in like anywhere else in the world on average.
Wow. That's insane. That's crazy.
Because we love our energy and we love it cheap and we love to do exactly what we want with it. And we're not really willing to change, but that, like you said, anyone who has driven an electric car is like, oh, it's the best thing ever.
Yeah. I mean, just the driving experience alone, not even the benefits of not having to go to a gas station too. I mean,
Totally.
just the whole experience. No oil, no gas, no stopping at a station. Just the only disadvantage is they don't have this windshield squeegees at all of the charging stops.
That is totally true. And I will, yeah, that is 100% good call out. Electrify America, if you're listening, we need like a bathroom and some squeegees at your place. Yeah. And maybe there's a couple more places, like more charging stations. Seriously.
Yeah, more charging stations for sure. There are these stations, I believe one of them is called Iona, and they're like essentially like a gas station for electric cars. There's no gas there. It's just charging, and they have like a store, and they have the squeegees. So those look pretty cool. There's one, do you know where Fruita is? Colorado? Yeah, they just opened one out that way. So whenever I go, if I do a Utah trip or something this winter, I'm going to check it out for sure. So
that's cool. They're like all the sporty mountain bikers. They know they have their electric. They're like, we know they're through Fruita with the mountain bikers. They all have electric cars. Okay, so what did you get? What car did you get?
I got a Rivian.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, it's really
cool.
It? I love it. It's like the best car ever. It's awesome.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I think the Master Sounds will be maybe our first interview when I'm with them. They're doing their last tour of the U.S. They're not really going to tour the States because it's so expensive dealing with the visas and everything. So what they're going to do is probably do like, shows in Europe occasionally, but this is sort of their final tour. So.
Right. What else can the government ruin? They've ruined everything. They're ruining music now too. We can't even get good. Well,
I know.
We have to listen to like Kid Rock and stuff. Those are the only artists that'll tour in America. Cool.
At least we've got Taylor.
Oh my gosh. What do you think about the new album?
I like it. I had Opalite in my head this morning because I was listening to it last night while I was drinking too much wine. So it was stuck in my...
I saw that. It was like perfect white girl wine song, and it was like all these ladies like to Opalite. So funny.
Yeah,
I feel like we should call Mike Douglas and see if he answers and just get his hot take on the album. What do you think?
Yeah, we should. I know how many times he listened to it on the first day. That's all I know.
You do? You already asked him about this.
I texted him that night and I was like, so how many times have you listened to it today?
Okay. All right. I'm calling him.
All right. We have to figure out how to we're going to have to learn how to like patch people in on the phone audio.
Can you hear that?
Okay, I can hear that. So that's good.
Hello?
Mike, it's Ingrid. I'm with Malone. You're live on our soon to be new podcast. And we just have to ask you what your thoughts are on Taylor's new album.
I like it. It's growing on me. I would say my favorite song is still Sticks from the first listen, which is The Fate of Ophelia.
So good.
It's good.
But it's kind of really rounded out. I don't really get the hate. I'm not buying into the hate. I'm a Taylor fan, and I think she just keeps bringing it, and I'm happy for that.
So, okay, clarify, is the hate from the general public, or how are the Swifties receiving it?
I think it's more general public. Okay. I mean, I heard some lukewarm response from some Swifties, but I think the Swifties are backing it overall.
Awesome.
That's
all right.
good.
Well, thank you for picking up. We didn't mean to bother you today, but we just had to get your take on it because you're one of the biggest Swifties that I know.
Well, I appreciate the call, and always
thank you, and we'll make sure to properly have you on our new podcast here in the future, especially with a new movie. So maybe that could be something we could talk about.
Yeah, Cool.
Yeah, that'd be
Okay.
awesome. All right. Well, we'll talk to you
Cool.
soon. Thanks, Mike.
Okay. Bye.
Yeah, The Edge of Reason is Mike Douglas's new film that he made about Cody Townsend, Elise Sogstad, and Nikolai Shermer. And Malone and I got a sneak peek at it when we were in Chile. And it is such an amazing, provocative, tear-jerking, emotionally charged film with a lot of ripping as well. And it basically, Malone can chime in, but it basically follows Elise and Cody as they go ski couloirs with Nikolai in Norway.
Yep.
Yeah. And I don't know if that's spoiler alert to talk about what happened, but basically, yeah, there's an avalanche. So everyone was fine. But yeah, just going through that. And as a parent myself who still likes to go out in the mountains, it was particularly, it resonated really hard for me. And I just think it's such an important story and so well told by Mike and Cody and Elise and Nikolai. And if you have a chance to see it, this is like, obviously we have no advertisers yet. And this is not an advertisement, but just a wholehearted endorsement from myself. And I'm sure Malone would agree.
Yeah, 100%. And I think we definitely will do another episode with that. That is, one of the ideas also is to have a ski movie segment, obviously for its ski movie season, which has already started. So I think that is a positive, and that is, always fun. So, that's our mini ski movie segment for this episode.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Cool.
Movie segment. We got our surprise guest caller out of the way, and
maybe that should be a recurring thing too. That's a good idea. See, like, I think this is how the segments are born. It's just stuff that happens. So I like it. It's surprise caller, and if they don't answer, they don't answer sometimes. But sometimes
I think we just randomly call people and bug them and tell them that they're part of our podcast, whether they like it or not. I also think that if anyone listening has any like institutional knowledge on any of the stuff that we are just shooting our mouths off about, I would love to hear that. Like, obviously I am a skier. This is stuff that I care about. And I try to stay informed, but I do not pretend like I know all the answers or anything at all or any facts. So yeah, if you know that I'm wrong, please let me know.
And we definitely want anyone in the sustainability areas who works in those areas, if they are interested in being a guest. We are going to reach out to people on our own, but if there's people that we don't know or haven't contacted, please feel free to reach us. We're going to put the email address that you can reach us at in the bottom here. We'll display it. So hit us up, and we will have a website, allmountainpodcast.com, which I believe has a working contact feature. Ingrid tried it today, and I got an email.
What did your email say?
That's a good question. What did it say? I got to remember where it was. It said, All Mountain Podcasts received a new message. Name, Ingrid. Her email. Message, sick site, bro. And she submitted that off the website homepage. It is a work in progress. And in addition to video, we will upload, obviously, the audio. So we're both going to be learning how to do all this. I think Ingrid probably has more editing abilities than I do, but we are going to figure it out. And so I don't know. You got anything else for the first edition of AMP? I haven't looked at the trademark on AMP yet, too, but I'm sure it's probably like Mountain Dew, right? Isn't there a Mountain Dew AMP? They probably own it.
I'm totally not with it on the Mountain Dew flavor.
I'm not either. But I'm pretty sure I've seen AMP on a soda before.
Huge. We'll have to call it like AMP Pod or something. But I think that's great. If you are listening to this, if you've listened, we appreciate that. And yeah, I promise it is only going to get better from here.
Yes, we this is this is a first edition. We don't have sponsors. We don't have to be polished. We're just gonna, we're just putting it out there. We've got guest ideas. We're not sure what our frequency is going to be yet. Hopefully we can do once a month during ski season. I know Ingrid's busy. I've got travel plans lined up too, but hopefully that will lead to some in-person locations that we record from. So I've got some ideas, and hopefully Ingrid and I will be skiing together also at some point in the next few months. So yeah, and there might be other special people skiing with us too that we can not only we can put them on camera, not just on the phone.
Yeah, that'd be the hope.
Yeah. So, all right. Anything else? You want to call that a wrap for this one?
Yeah. Thanks so much for chatting with me and listening. I really appreciate it.
Definitely. Okay. Talk to you next time. Thanks.
Okay. Bye.